Well, hello everyone. How are you today? Live here on our Facebook page, but good evening, everybody in the USA. I'm here from Australia. If you're new to Essential Stencil, welcome. If you're watching the replay, and you can comment the word replay there. All right, so I've got, as you can see right here, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," the little part of the poem, the traditional poem there, and it comes with the bonus of these cute, adorable little mice. So yes, I want to do something with that today. On this board that it's just a canvas actually. I've pre-painted this in Fusion's Colour Cashmere. You can see it's an off-white. It's not as white as the casement white, so it's not a bright white. It's a nice off-white. And let's get started. Now this is from the classic Christmas bundle. So we'll start without the mice, and I'm going to just put my stencil, which is 12 by 16 size, on my canvas, and I'm going to use simple black for the stenciling the words part. Just going to go over that with a nice swirling motion, and I can do that swirling motion because I've got hardly anything on my brush. That is the key to really good stenciling. Add a little bit of paint. So we've got the words done. Now before we move on to the stocking idea, I'll lift that up. So stay tuned for that little piece. But I wanted to add a little mouse. This little guy, he's sleeping. And I think he could fit nicely down at the end here. I'm going to do that in Woodwick, which is Fusion's, it's a brown colour. I've just added some cling film, or Glad wrap we call it. Plastic wrap, saran wrap you call it maybe, onto the top so that my lids don't stick on there. And I could probably do that red. So when that's dried, I'll go over that. So he's got a little, we'll just hit this with a hairdryer a second, because I don't want it to be still wet when I put the stencil. So I want to do maybe a red stocking, green stocking, red stocking. Okay, so I'm using Fusion's Cranberry as my red. There we go. Now I'll do some green. And I'm going to use, I think I'll use Fusion's Bayberry. Might use a couple of different greens. I'll use the Bayberry for the little thing at the top. Whoop. And then I'll use a different colour green for the stocking, just so you can see a little bit of a difference in that. So this is the colour Conservatory. It's just a bit lighter, but it has the similar muted tone to it. Without getting the other leaves. Okay, and this one makes sense to be green because it's got a Christmas tree on the stocking. Now remember, I'm replacing this stocking here, so let's see how that turned out. Now I could go ahead and change that a little bit, add some little bits, add some things to the snowman. You could do that with your detail brushes if you wanted to. So let's see if we can remove this. We've got our stockings nice and beautifully, neatly arranged there. And then I'm going to add our little mouse. Let's just dry that first. So we were using our Bayberry colour. And I might have to use my cardboard again to just block off his tail, which comes right up next to the branch. So, and flip that over, come to this side so I can block off his tail this way. So a little brown mouse colour. Grab our cardstock again, see if I can get his tail without getting this branch. Lean more, if I lean more over this way. Otherwise you can tape it off with your blue painter's tape. Cute little guy. And then we'll use this to block off his hands and add the red back in. Fusion's Cranberry colour, nice dark kind of red. And we'll do the bauble. So we've got our little mouse sleeping down here. There's a little mouse with a gift. All sorts of fun little mice on here we could add to. There we go, look at that, 3 stockings and a mouse. Got a little board here that we could do some things on. See, and I'll probably just do like a basic white snowman. We've got layer 1, it's written on the top there, and then layer 2, and then you can add his buttons. Where would his buttons go? I think his buttons would be up higher, right? I'm going to have to refer to my, oh, there's a star there, that's why. So then he's got his star, and he's holding the star, that's why. So we've got the star, which will go, and then there's the heart. And the heart, you can see the little imprints where it lines up with the hands. So look, Essential Stencil, think of everything. And then we've got our little birds. You can add them anywhere. There's a guide at the back if you want to follow that. So let's have a go. Let's just have a go and have some fun with Mr. Snowman. 20 centimetres, 8 by 6. 6 by 8, 8 by 6. Okay, I'm using Fusion's Casement White for our snowman. That's their whitest white. Actually, it's not their whitest white anymore. Fusion has come out with a new white called Snowdrop, and it's bright, bright white. So I'm just offloading my brush right there in the centre, moving out towards the edges as I get less and less on the brush. Now I can come in from the sides. And there we go. Got our snowman base down. Now you could dry that and then go over with a second coat if you like, So I want to show you this. So see how there's two little indents right here, each side of that second, the second snowball. It says layer 2 at the top there, so we can place that down, and those little indents will become noticeable. There they are. So they are for the little arm sticks to come out. And it's just a lot easier to get some good direction from these. So in other words, like when you've got some other stencil pieces that are really close, this one tends to, you don't have to tape it off as much, so they're great for that. So I'm just blotting it down, and we've got this around here. From the scarf on his little hands. And now we can go back to our red. Let's see if the red might be small enough to do a scarf. The red brush I'm talking about. So I used the 1/2 inch brush. Because we're using a small stencil, I'm going to see if let's just do a red scarf. You could make your scarf all different colours with the stripes. Okay, let's see. Oh, we've got to remember his carrot nose. That's going to be probably the only orange thing on here. We've got that little bit of green. You can use that bayberry on the berry. And I'll have to use a tiny detail brush maybe for... Actually, look at this one. This is the other little domed soft bristle brush. This is the 6/25 size. Now dot those. See how it's just easier to get areas that are close to others. So if you need the brushes, add them in when you get your... Right, what about also, maybe we could do those green gloves in this conservatory colour. Have green gloves on, be a little bit more Christmassy. We've got conservatory that we used for our other stencil project. If you missed that one earlier, you could catch the replay. It's from one of the Christmas bundles that's available right now. And those are ready for shipping too, guys, the Christmas bundles. Oh, we're going to use some mustard for that. Mustard colour. Yeah, ease of not sliding under the stencil too much. All right, we've got a little nose going on right now. So if you missed it, this is from the Stencil of the Month Club for next month. We always showcase this week, like the 14th to the 20th. We're showing you the Stencil of the Month Club so you can get others to join, or you can skip if you needed to skip. I personally love the cute little snowman. We've done everything from layer 2. This one is called Primitive Snowman, so we haven't even finished him. Look, guys, there's another layer here. Cranberry red. Another layer. Let's add this down the bottom. We can add a bird up the top. Since my board is quite longer than the stencil set, we can add one. Oop. There you go. And then you could add some more snowflakes and a star if you wanted to add to our snowman. So that's the Stencil of the Month Club set in for next month. And it's this little pot that I got at an op shop, or a thrift store as you would call them over there in America. I pre-cut out these little birds, and this is from the Breast Cancer Awareness Campaign stencils and transfer set that you can order right now. They're right there on Essential Stencil. And I love that the tone of the birds actually sort of suits the tone of the cream bucket. But just rub it on with your plastic and then get your transfer tool. And don't forget there's I don't know if you saw it on the site, there's pink ones which also raise money for the breast cancer research. Look how smooth that looks. It's just super smooth. That came out really well. I love it. I will see you again next week. So that's all for now, folks. Have a fun rest of your week. Bye-bye.